Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 176 of the Runnin the Paint podcast. I'm Miles here with Ben, Nick, and Joey. Wait, is that Jackson? Jackson Goglin back on the podcast. How are you guys doing today?
Feeling good, feeling great, Miles. That was pretty smooth. Did not expect the pump fake, but Joey Jackson, yeah, that was smooth. Nice. Goglin, nice to have you, buddy.
Noticeable
Here for the
upgrade
Midseason award.
for
You got
this
some hot
episode.
takes for us? Do you have some hot takes for us?
Pretty lukewarm takes today, I think. Maybe one here or there, but I'm just glad we have a noticeable upgrade here on the show today.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, so this is the first time that Jackson Goglin, our buddy, is back on the podcast since we previewed the Southwest Division, which conveniently Joey also had to miss that podcast. So, Jackson, what are your kind of thoughts on this whole situation here?
Proof is in the pudding. I think he's a little scared. He doesn't want to hear me talk about the Kings and his other favorite team. Also, your guys' favorite team. Both been struggling, so.
Yeah, that's definitely funny here. But yeah, definitely glad to have Jackson back on the podcast. Joey can't make it today because the snow has finally decided to hit Northeast Ohio. So we are gonna pull through here.
We think he's ducking the smoke, though. Ducking the smoke.
Yeah,
Quite the
viewers.
coincidence.
Yeah, wait. What does the snow have to do with it? Is he DeAndre Ayton? Can't show up for work because of some snow?
That's right. He couldn't travel to his computer to hop on the call with the internet. The internet got in his way. But incredibly enough, guys, we are now at the midway point of the NBA regular season. Already at the midway point. Some teams are hitting that point where they played 41 games. Every team's between 38 to 41, 42 games at this point. So thought that, like we've done in the past, give our mid-season awards. If the season were to end today, who would win each of the major awards? And of course, the special award here on the Runnin the Paint podcast that we will get to later. But we also have some big headlines to go over as well. So we will get right into this, starting off with Pirtle. Now, Jackson used to be one of the, Pirtle pros here on the Runnin the Paint podcast. We'll see if he still has it in him today. Jackson, who should we guess first?
Player from my favorite team. He looks awfully similar to a DC superhero. It's Aquaman. It's Steven Adams.
Steven Adams from the Houston Rockets. Let's see where that can get us. All right, this is going to be a 6'10 or 6'9 forward in the East that's 31 or 30 years old that wears a single-digit jersey number. So this is interesting because this is a 6'10 or 6'9 forward, not a center. So, this is going to be probably a four-man here that's 31 or 30 in the East.
The two first guys I thought of, I think, are too tall, and that was Miles and Giannis.
I thought of Giannis too, but I think
Number's too high.
Plus the number. Yeah, the number.
Miles Turner isn't bad, though. I mean, is he in his 30s already? You probably.
What number?
I would imagine he's 30, 31, but I don't know what he's listed. Height.
Oh, well, he's going to be a center. He's a center.
Oh, true.
Centers don't exist. Steven Adams is the last one, isn't he?
Well, man, this is actually going to be pretty difficult here.
Eastern Conference vet. Is Boucher still in the league?
Chris Boucher's on Boston. I'm not sure if they consider him a 4 or 5.
It's not a bid one.
He'd have to be a 4. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I don't know what number he is either for Boston right now.
Tricky.
What about Sharp?
Too young for this.
Ron.
Claxton?
See, another center. Like
Center.
These power forwards that are 31 or 30. All right, let's lock in on this.
Isn't BI close to that range?
Ingram could be. Man, it'd be crazy if he's 30 or 31 already, though.
I mean, he was drafted in 2015?
Yeah, 16. Yeah, it could be around there. I mean, we can do it just to. Tobias Harris is another one. I think he's the number 12. But BI is a good one to try and narrow down the division, at least in the East. Here we go. Yeah, Ingram. Let's try it. We'll see what we can get with Brandon Ingram. All right.
East forward. Oh yeah, the
Okay.
height. Okay.
Between the numbers 6 and 9, and not in the Atlantic
And it's
Division.
30. He's a 30-year-old.
30-year-old forward that
And
wears.
it's I guess that's also between 6'9" and 6'10" still.
Let's see. I think we could get this in 3. Hopefully, this isn't an obscure player that we're just forgetting about here.
How tall is Wiggins?
Wiggins?
No, he's not 6'10". There's no way Wiggins is maybe 6'9".
6'9". I don't know if he can get away with 6'9". Either way, I think he's 22.
Oh yeah,
Because he took Jimmy's number.
that's disrespectful.
Let's see. Yeah. Indy.
I don't think Jonathan Isaac is this old yet.
Is it? I think Pascal might be this old. But again, the number.
Yeah, higher number. Man, this number thing
Could be someone we are forgetting about. I don't know.
Let's look. Let's see. So Detroit. I'm trying to think through all these teams. Detroit, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Sorry,
like Barlow or Edwards on Philly.
Justin Edwards. They're both younger.
I know.
And it's the wrong division.
Oh, that's the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Miami.
Gosh.
Is OG?
Miles Bridges?
Oh, OG's number 3.
Oh, I think OG's number 8 with New York.
Miles Bridges was a good.
Bridges was 2018.
And he's 0.
And he's
Okay, yeah.
I don't like him anyways.
No.
Does OG work?
Oh no, the Atlantic again. Okay, we gotta. It's not the Nets, Knicks, Celtics, Sixers, or Raptors.
Yeah.
Not any of those teams.
I'm gonna forget that.
Milwaukee. Man, I was thinking Bobby Portis, but he's number 5.
Yeah, Jared Allen.
Or no, he's number 9. This could be Bobby Portis.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't think of
Try
him. That's a
him.
good guess.
I wouldn't hate
Let's try him. Bobby Portis. Yes.
Hey.
Yeah.
There we go. Bobby
That's not
Portis.
Merv.
Yes, good teamwork there across the board. It was this is definitely a tough one. Let us know how long it took you guys to get Bobby Portis. But now let's get into the basketball talk here on the podcast. And let's talk about the game of the week that occurred on Tuesday. A very highly anticipated game between the two top teams in the West, the San Antonio Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Highly anticipated, not just because these are the two top teams in the Western Conference, but because the Spurs in the first 3 meetings of the season beat the Thunder all 3 times. So this game being in Oklahoma City, you knew the Thunder you expected the Thunder to come out and try and make a statement, and that is exactly what they did with a dominant third quarter, coming away with a 119-98 victory to give themselves their first victory of the season over the San Antonio Spurs. Nick, let's start off with you. What did you see from this game and from Oklahoma City that allowed them to pull away and get this win?
Honestly, it was how they came out in the third quarter. They went on an 11-0 run to start the second half. And Vic and the Spurs did, to their credit, fight back. Went on a 7-0 run right after to cut the lead back down to, I think, 7 or 8. And it was. I mean, they were right there. They had it for the taking, and the Thunder just overmatched them in the second half. And they did it, I think, mostly on the defensive end first. But yeah, this was a big game coming in because, like you said, 3 straight wins. And it was one that I had circled as one of the bigger games for the rest of the year, just to see how they would respond. And they defended their home court against a team that had beat them 3 times in a row. And they had sort of an identity and back to, like I was talking about a couple weeks ago, you regain some confidence after something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Jackson, that third quarter was huge for OKC. And really, they just looked more like themselves in that third quarter with the physical defense, turning the defense into offense and completely shutting down the Spurs.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was a wake-up call for them when they obviously lost the third game to the Spurs, and it made them hungry, and you could see that not only in the first, but like throughout the whole game. I mean, the ball movement was the normal OKC type of ball movement. I mean, J-Dub had like in the first quarter even had 3 easy layups in a row just because of Aaron Wiggins making some great passes and the Thunder just moving the ball, doing what they usually do. But that defense, especially in the third, it was evident. Like it's like a beehive. It's like they just swarm to the ball. Like the ball is like the queen bee, and they're just like it's crazy to watch because it's like they're so fluent with how they play defense, and then it leads to obviously the easy offense, which it's fun to watch. I'm someone who obviously my favorite team plays a lot of that hard-nosed basketball. I enjoy watching the hard-nosed basketball. I think it's interesting. But one guy that I kind of circled when I was like taking notes on this game was AJ Mitchell off the bench. I think he played some fantastic defense, and he's not a guy necessarily known to be an all-world defender like the rest of his teammates, but some of the plays he was making, especially when he was like guarding like Fox, who had somewhat of a down game, he looked like he belonged with the rest of the Thunder, if that makes sense. Like he was showing a lot of effort and just playing fantastic defense, especially in the third.
Yeah, no question about it. Ben, AJ Mitchell, one of the many role players that stepped up for the Thunder. Of course, being at home, in a game like this, Shea is going to step up, have a great game. He took off in the third quarter. Same for J-Dub, which was nice to see. He's had a bit of a slow start to the season after coming back from the injury. But it was some key role players coming off the bench that really made the difference in this game for OKC when they were going on that run in the third quarter.
Yeah, for sure. OKC's stuff was back to looking really good finally again, and that proved big in this game. And yeah, AJ Mitchell's been great all year off the bench. Who knows? Maybe we'll talk about him again later in this video. But yeah, I was really impressed that the Thunder were able to put a statement on them. I did totally, expected to like dominate them. Finally, I thought the Spurs, kind of had their number, but was thinking maybe OKC could finally win this time. But was quite impressed with the show they put on, and look out for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander with catching up for Wilt Chamberlain. Missed 20-plus point scoring games. He's still has that going. He's 34 in that game.
Yeah, he's climbing up his way on the charts in that category for sure. But again, Nick, it was the Thunder defense that played that championship defense and didn't allow the Spurs to really get going there. What were you seeing with the Thunder defense on Victor Wembanyama in particular throughout the game?
I kind of followed the same trend as most of the league, which is not to put the 5 on him, not to put Chet or Jalen Williams on him, like mostly a tall forward like Wiggins or Williams or Caruso, kind of just looking to limit him and not let him dominate from having the ball in his hands perspective, like because he can win his matchup at anybody. So you're gonna put stoppers kind of like guarding the other 4 guys. I thought Jalen Williams had a great game too. He J-Will, not J-Dub. He surprised me in a lot of ways. And it was just a huge win. I was trying to find the turnover stats. They both had 11 for the game, but I was trying to find third quarter specific. You wouldn't believe
I'll look at that right now. Only 3 turnovers in the third for San Antonio. It feels like they had more. But maybe it was also the fact that like sometimes when there are some possessions throughout a game that maybe even though it doesn't count as a turnover, it's kind of like a bad shot or something that is like a turnover, whether it's Harrison Barnes trying to drive to the paint, trying to, throw up a floater over the Thunder defense, or shots late in the shot clock that could end up being turnovers and just bad shots. And I feel like there were a lot of those.
it's the same effect, right? Because if you take a bad shot at the rim or a long rebound, you get guys behind the ball going the other way.
Yeah, no question about it. I think the way that they defended Wemby was so important, guarding him with J-Dub for a lot of the game, because as we saw to start, Jackson, Wemby was trying to make a statement against Chet. He came out very aggressive with a couple of monstrous plays right at the basket. So the Thunder, I mean, they had no choice but to switch it up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one thing that I noticed, one person that I was impressed with on San Antonio, especially out of the gate, was Stephon Castle. I think obviously like people are kind of keened in on like, hey, this guy's making a jump, but it's not really being talked about how impressive of a jump it actually is from year 1 to year 2, because last year he really like he won rookie of the year, but he wasn't a polished player by any means. He wasn't necessarily efficient. He was taking bad shots. And this year he just seemed a lot more comfortable, a lot more fluent on offense, and he just seems like he's more of that. He could be like a 2 next to Wemby, or like with a big 3 with Dylan Harper or with Fox in the future. I think he showed a lot in that game. He wasn't afraid of OKC in the first, whether it was taking threes, which he made a couple, or driving to the basket. I mean, I think, what was it, first play of the game, he went up and threw down a nasty like 2-handed dunk or something. And it's just it's been really fun to watch him, especially in games where Wemby's kind of getting sealed off by good defenses like the Thunder. It was just good to see him kind of be confident and kind of realize, hey, if Wemby's going to struggle, I'm kind of the next man up, especially because Fox was struggling as well. I think Fox didn't score until like midway through the second or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers for the Spurs on the game. So Castle led them in scoring at 20 points, 7 boards, 8 assists. And then Wemby had 17 on 7 for 15 shooting, missed 3 free throws. And then Fox only had 14 points on 9 shot attempts, 5 of 9 shooting. So overall, Thunder did a good job defensively on him. Ben, how important was this win for the Thunder? Again, they've been the best team in the league all season long, but they hit that hiccup over the last few weeks, led by those 3 losses to the Spurs. How big was this for them to have the confidence going forward that they can beat the Spurs team going forward, and that they know in that locker room they are still the team to beat in the NBA?
Yeah, it's big for the Thunder to get that confidence back, and they were hungry for it, and they just earned it by just looking phenomenal on both ends of the floor, like we've talked about already.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a very impressive win by the Thunder in that game to take care of business. Before we move on to our next topic here, wanted to talk to you guys about the matchup individually between Wemby and Chet, because ever since those two guys started in their first year playing in the league, we saw that the league was trying to put some sort of rivalry on it. And you can tell that Wemby tries to go right at him every single time. And so far this season, Chet Holmgren has not really answered the bell at all. In the last 3 games that they've played against each other, Holmgren's offensive numbers: 10 points on 5 of 9 shooting, 7 points on 3 for 10 shooting, and in the Tuesday game had 8 points on 1 for 4 shooting. And he just didn't look comfortable at all playing against him. Although the Thunder got the win, if this is a matchup in the playoffs, whether it's a conference finals, conference semifinal matchup, is that a problem that Chet Holmgren has not been able to find his rhythm against Wemby?
I mean, yeah, definitely something to watch and be concerned about. It's
Yeah,
definitely,
I agree.
yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously, like we saw in college when Gonzaga got eliminated when Chet was there. He sometimes, like, he doesn't like to get bullied, and I feel like Wemby's like he kind of knows that Wemby's like an alpha dog in these matchups against him, and I think he struggles with that mentally. I think it's a mental game. I think if he can get over the hump and be like, hey, I'm here too. I'm one of these guys. Like, let
Well,
me.
shoot, he has a ring. Like, what else do you need? But yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, for him to have like what, less than 20 combined points in their 3 games, or I guess
Yeah.
21 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, 25 in the last 3 games total on 23 shots in 3 games. This is a guy that, could potentially, with how the Thunder have been playing, have a case to make his first All-Star game this year, and only getting 7 shots per matchup is not a good thing for them going forward. So they're going to have to figure something out with that.
Yeah, and I think Mark Daigneault's a good enough coach to where he can, in the playoffs, if they do play the Spurs, put Chet in situations or kind of get it into Chet's head where, hey, like, you're here too, you're one of these guys, go at him. Like, you could score on him. He's not invincible, even though it may seem like it sometimes. Like, I think Mark's a good enough coach. He'll help Chet figure it out because Chet's a fantastic, phenomenal player.
Yeah, and last year in the playoffs, he kind of had those moments that we're talking about, especially in the finals, where he kind of disappeared in some moments, but had some big games, especially in the Game 7 when they won the finals against Indiana. But either way, big-time win for Oklahoma City. Excited for their final matchup against the Spurs that comes up in a few weeks, their 5th and final matchup of the regular season, which is on February 4th, a Wednesday. So a few more weeks till we get that final matchup of the regular season and hopefully a whole series in the playoffs, because that would be a lot of fun. But for the Thunder, their next game, we talked about in the last podcast, they now begin a big-time 4-game road trip, which starts in Houston against the Rockets, coming tonight at 7:30 on Prime. First time that these two teams are meeting up this season. And Jackson, as the resident Rockets fan here, we've been talking about the Rockets a lot on the podcast the last few weeks about some of the struggles they've gone through. What are your kind of thoughts on the state of the Rockets at this point of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a little worried, obviously, because they've struggled the last couple weeks. But I mean, they're still 8 or 9 games above 500, and I think for them to be slumping and still be 8 or 9 games above 500 it doesn't necessarily ring the worry bells for me.
Better one thing that watch what you say about the Cavs later on, then, because their record is right there.
Is it?
Well, when you consider.
Well, I mean, 23-19 versus 23-14. They've played 5 less games, but that's neither here or there.
Yeah, but yeah. But I think the one thing that has worried me, obviously, is the clutch scoring, which, I mean, obviously you have Kevin Durant, who is basically backpacked the clutch scoring here in the whole season, basically, because, I mean, Alp, while he's good in the clutch, he's also missed some time. Amen Thompson, he's kind of streaky, and he's not a guy like you could give the ball to and take a last-second 3-point shot if need be. And also, I don't think he's someone that can necessarily take it up in clutch situations and be asked to not turn it over. I think that's another thing the Rockets have struggled big time with in the clutch is the turnovers. So I think like Mark Daigneault, like I said with him, Ime Udoka is a good enough coach where he can get this stuff fixed, get it better, and who knows, maybe they do trade for another ball kind of dominant guard that can play later in the game. Or he had a good game the other day, JD Davidson, just saying. He was playing some garbage time, or not garbage time, he was playing the fourth quarter in crunch time, and he looked pretty solid. He was a guy I was impressed with, so hopefully we see something maybe there. But yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried.
Two-way?
I believe so.
Probably. But yeah, big time with Rockets were able to snap a 3-game losing streak with that win versus the Bulls. Housekeeping, somehow I forgot about the incredible first game of the season between the Rockets and the Thunder, the very first game of the season. So this is the second matchup of the season. Can't wait to see how those two teams play in that game. That was really, of course, went down to double overtime, and Shea hit the game-winning bucket, so that should be a lot of fun there in Houston. Again, that's Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. And then Rockets, they quickly played the Timberwolves the next night on Friday at 9:30 p.m. also at home. So a couple big tests for the Rockets. And then they closed the homestand by playing New Orleans on Sunday and then the Spurs on Tuesday. So they're playing the Wrath of the West over the next week. So a big time test
In New
for
Orleans.
yeah, and New Orleans. Big time test for Goglin's at Houston Rockets there. But moving on here. Before we get to our midseason awards, we've received some updates, some reports about some big names throughout the season here that could potentially be on the move, and one of them that already has been on the move with Trae Young, who was recently traded to the Washington Wizards. It came out that Trae Young is going to be reevaluated. He's currently recovering from MCL and quad injuries. He will be reevaluated by the Washington Wizards following the All-Star break, which is still, another month plus away from right now. So, Ben, what do you think about this, strategy there for the Wizards, just making sure that Trae Young could get healthy while they essentially lose games to try to keep their pick?
I think it's all right by the Wizards. Most important thing, obviously, with Trae Young, that they're prioritizing his health, and it's correct by the Hawks, even if it's not a super big injury issue like it isn't, but it's good to play cautious and just keep playing your younger guys, not Trey for now, just continuing to develop with them, and hope we can get a good spot to potentially get lucky in the lottery course and maybe land the top pick.
Yeah, Nick, seems to be the strategy there for the Wizards. We're going to see a lot of tanking in the second half of the season, and the Wizards will be one of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, you called it right after the trade that they would replicate the Toronto situation with Brandon Ingram from last year, except, I mean, didn't Trey play before he got traded? So him being hurt is more just a front or an act to lose games.
Well, he was out for a while before. He was sprinkling in games here and there.
With the same injury, and then came back from that injury, and now is out 6 weeks with the same injury after playing before getting traded.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Trae Young hasn't played since December 27th. And what day was the trade? 8 days ago, so January 6th. So he didn't play a week before the trade when the reports started coming out about the trade.
Yeah. I mean, I could see him coming back at some point this season, maybe for a week or two, just to kind of get acclimated with Sar and with Bilal, the other guys. Maybe 5 or so games at the end of the year if they're already pretty far tanked. I could see it, but I mean, there's no rush to bring him back. They're gonna have the whole offseason to get to work with each other too. I think the Wizards are in a good spot.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Trae Young is that if he's going to go with this plan, because he's going to have to okay the plan of him not really playing when he's got a player option for next year, and he's going to want his next big payday here. Is he still a great player in the NBA, so he's going to have to be on board with the plan of them tanking, kind of like we saw with Lauri Markkanen and the Utah Jazz for the last couple of years. One of the reasons why he signed such a big contract in Utah is because he had to okay the plan here of not really playing some games. We saw the same thing again with Brandon Ingram last year. So we'll see if the Wizards sign into an extension at all this season to make sure that he is, good to go and he's with the franchise moving forward. But anyways, let's move on over to the Western Conference for a name that we've talked about a lot this season, and not really because he's been on the court that much, and that is Anthony Davis of the Dallas Mavericks, who's going to be reevaluated in 6 more weeks. It came out over the last week. Nick, again, still, a wild situation. I know now on the podcast, besides Ben here, we have 3 people who are big fans or, some, slight fans of the Luka Doncic trade in Dallas's favor when it has happened. And now we're seeing what has happened, in the nearly full year since then. What do you think is going to happen with this situation going forward? There are reports that they could trade Anthony Davis to some competitive team. They'll bring him back, sign him, do an extension. I mean, it's a crazy situation as we've dissected all year.
No, I don't think that they will trade him. I think he'll be starting the first game of next year alongside Kyrie and Luka. And they'll have
Cooper Flag.
Damn.
Yeah.
Not Luka, sorry. Cooper Flag. But yeah, I think they're gonna wait until next year to see what they got, and I don't know. It's not a good look for the league when like sitting your best players is a good strategy, whether they're hurt or not hurt. Like this helps Dallas and it helps Washington hold on to their pick, not Dallas hold on to their pick, but sets them up for the draft this year. And I don't know. That I would just want to throw that out there and say that that's what I think.
Yeah, so Nick brings up that and I've heard this opinion too, that this is a developing problem in the league, and this all goes around the whole thing in the league of tanking. And we've got a bunch of teams, of course, that need to be in a certain spot here in order for the good of their future, their franchise, to build forward in the draft. Ben Jackson, I guess Jackson, will start with you. Do you think that it is a big problem in the league, the tanking situation, and what Nick is bringing up with the injured players sitting maybe when they are, maybe, healthy enough to play?
I think it is and it isn't, because I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you could do to prevent it necessarily. But also, like, I mean, as long as these teams are giving, like, insight that a player is going to be out for an extended period of time, like, I'm not necessarily upset with that, because I get annoyed when, like, it's these phantom injuries that, like, they don't tell you on the injury report until the day of, and the player's out for a long time, because then people are paying tickets, paying money for tickets. But, like, if they say AD is going to be out for 6 weeks, if you want to go see AD, you're not going to go this year and see him, unfortunately. But I think, like, I don't know. I mean, it definitely is annoying sometimes, but also, like, I can't fault these bottom tier teams for doing that, especially in a draft class that's better than normal.
Yeah, Ben, what do you think? Do you think that it's a problem around the league? And, if it is, how do you think the league could fix it?
Well, I don't think there's much the league can totally do about this. Like Jackson, I mean, I could get why teams that are, towards the bottom of the standings, rebuilding, can want to do that and stuff to protect the player, sorta here. But yeah, I mean, I think teams should still be looking at, like, I mean, even though they could be bad, still trying to win some games to help the young guys. But which I mean, I think teams do, but, like, they try to, like, be bad just with who the talent they put out with are. That's just what I think on this.
Yeah, definitely a situation that I know the league has been looking at for a long time. We'll see if they do anything at the end of this season. I mean, I'm sure the talks will come up a lot later in the season when you have teams like the Wizards that need to keep their pick, the Jazz that need to keep their pick, though they're both in the top 8. And teams like that, I mean, that need to keep their pick in order for the betterment of their franchise going forward.
The issue is when you get later in the season and teams are fighting for playoff seeds, and then you have teams that don't have their best foot forward out at the end of the year. And one of the ideas that I heard to fix it is, like, you set a date, like after the All-Star game, that's when the lottery odds start, and you incentivize winning by doing the lottery odds based on winning from, like, a certain date in the season. You set it up some way to incentivize winning late in the season for the teams at the bottom of the standings.
Yeah, I did hear something like on March 1st, the wins start to go towards the lottery odds or something like that. I mean, it is definitely a tricky situation.
Just because of the playoff seedings, honestly. And that's so important for how the, like, finals matchups come out.
Well, yeah, for seeding, yeah, very, very important. So we'll see if anything happens going forward. I mean, more discussions will come up as the season goes along here. Final headline before we get to the midseason awards. Ja Morant, another guy that's on the market that could potentially be on the move. Jackson's already shaking his head. Why, Jackson? What are your thoughts on the situation?
I'm so sick of this dude. I'm so sick of Ja Morant. Just like, I mean, I guess it's not even him this time. I think this one's more on the Grizzlies. Like, coming out and saying they're ready to trade him is basically like, or they're open to offers, basically like them saying, hey, we don't want him here. And that's like, if they don't trade him, it's going to cause more problems in the organization between Ja and everyone else. So it's just, it's a murky situation. I mean, I personally think that they should try to move him. I don't know if they're going to get what they want because we just saw Trae Young, a similar like build, maybe not a similar like, sorry, maybe not a similar like offensive play style. Like they're different players, but they're like similar players in a way.
Same
Yeah,
tier, same position.
Yeah, so like we saw what Trae just went for, and I think Ja's a little younger, but also I think Ja comes with a lot more baggage. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what a return for Ja would be and how that would affect the rest of the Grizzlies' plans. Because I think if Ja gets traded, I could also see Triple J getting traded, obviously, and then it's like a whole kind of snowball effect throughout the team.
Yeah, the last few weeks or so, it's just been very dramatic and inconsistent in Memphis because Ja Morant has been out the last 5 or so games with a calf injury, and since he's been out and injured, he got injured before those reports started coming out. But even before then, as Nick leaves and joins us back once again, we've been hearing for the last few years, ever since the Grizzlies forced Taylor Jenkins to change his entire coaching staff. Then they fired Taylor Jenkins near the end of last season that to kind of go against Ja Morant's philosophies or whatever, the things that make him such a great player, that this could be, a possibility. But he got injured before the reports came out that they were open to trading him. So he hasn't had to speak to the media yet until today, because the Grizzlies are in Berlin and London to play a couple games against the Orlando Magic on Thursday and Saturday or Sunday. So he's finally had a chance to speak to the media, and he really hasn't given that much. There's that clip, I don't know if you guys have seen, that came out that was like 2 minutes long of him having an argument with Vince Williams on the court while they're shooting around, and it's like Jack, you've seen it. I mean, that's just not okay for a Grizzlies team where we don't know what they're trying to do. They don't really have a direction right now.
Yeah, basically. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. If they trade Jaren Jackson, like, what are they doing, building around Cedric Howard?
Well, I think their plan is to try and build around Jaren Jackson Jr. because he is still, a good player. I'm not sure if he's the type of guy you could build around necessarily. I mean, again, he is a good player, but he definitely has limitations. As a player, he's great defensively, but it's been definitely talked about a lot. The lack of rebounding, his shot blocking has gotten worse over the last few seasons. His efficiency from 3-point range has gone down a little bit this season. Same thing with his scoring, even though his minutes are up and his usage is up. So, the Grizzlies are definitely in a tough spot. It's even tougher because during the offseason, when they made the Desmond Bane trade and got back the 3 to 4 first-round picks, of course, they get Cedric Howard, who's been a very impressive rookie this season. But, at the time when they made the trade, it was seen that the most valuable asset that they got in return was this year's Phoenix Suns first-round pick, and the Suns could potentially make the playoffs this year. So
thanks to the one and only famous we find in the West, Memphis Grizzly, Dylan Brooks.
Right? That is crazy how that goes around. That is crazy how that goes.
They need to trade Ja out east. They need to get him out of the West.
You guys remember?
I remember.
Yeah, very well aware. So we will see over the next 3 weeks or so what ends up happening, because it's crazy. As this releases, trade deadline is 3 weeks from today. So we will see if any of those other big names get traded, if other names that we do not expect are on the move as well. But now let's get into our mid-season awards. Again, we are now halfway through the regular season, so it is time to give our awards for the first half of the season here. Joey sent me his awards as well, so we can all have a word in this. We all came up with our top 3 for each award, some if not more. So let's get started. Nick, why don't you pick an award and we can just kind of get started?
Well, it's only right that the coach picks the Coach of the Year award.
All right, Coach of the Year.
All right.
I got JB.
Oh, wait, I thought we were gonna start from 3.
Oh,
My bad.
Well, we could name the guy if we want. I mean, how do we want to go about this?
Whoever
top
picks,
3?
you could pick 3 or 1.
Okay, well, you already said 1, so who are your 2 and
Let me
3?
go, man.
Who are your 2 and 3?
2 is Mitch Johnson of the Spurs. And 3 is Joe Mazzulla because he's got the Celtics as a top 4 seed all year long, and they were expected to be in the play-in, sort of at best.
Yeah, to have a gap here. Those are all definitely guys that should be in the conversation. Jackson, how about you? How about we all give our number 1s, because then other people may have some of the runners up who don't want to take the shine from those guys as well.
I have the same number 1, and I have the same 2 and 3, just switched. Yeah, but you guys go ahead.
Interesting there. All right, Ben, how about you? Who's your Coach of the Year at this point of the season?
I actually have David Allen as my Coach of the Year because the Nuggets, when they were playing really well, of course, when they had Jokic, the offense was clucking so good when they had Jokic. But then now, after the Nuggets lost Jokic, the Nuggets are somehow still competitive, having some good games. Guys are stepping up and playing really well. I just have been quite impressed by it. And, yeah, I somehow predicted them to win Coach of the Year before the season. But then, yeah, I do really like J.B. Bickerstaff, too. He's my number 2. It's quite impressive. Just what he's done with the Pistons once again this year. They keep elevating now. Number 1 seed in the East right now.
Yeah, okay, hold on, Ben. I'm going to stop you there because people saying the East is wide open, and that's disrespectful. I mean, they said that with sort of the West last year, and the Thunder were the 1 seed all year, and the Pistons have been the 1 seed all year. Shout out to JB, man.
Yeah, he definitely deserves the recognition. He's been phenomenal for that team over the last few years, and again, still their roster, on paper, I'm still interested to see what happens in the playoffs, and I don't. I still think we need to kind of see it in the playoffs in order for us to trust them, and that's why I think it is still wide open. But as far as the regular season goes, I mean, they've been number 1 really the whole season, and when they were starting to lose the lead, they picked up back-to-back wins against New York and Cleveland, and they've gotten this lead back up again. So it's been very impressive to see what they've been able to do. He's my number 2 for
Ben
Coach.
has to do his 3rd. I bet it's Mitch Johnson, though.
Then my 3 was Jordan Knott of the Suns.
Oh,
Bang!
nice.
Yeah, that's my number 1.
Yeah, Jordan Knott.
Just dunked on Nick's head.
It's been impressive how he's turned around the Suns. I kind of expected it maybe before the season, but it's been even better.
Yeah, I think Jordan Knott at this point gotta be Coach of the Year at this point. I mean, okay, Jackson maybe expected this, but dude, but that is ridiculous at the beginning of the season. That is a troll take for people at the beginning of the season, and so far it is coming true. I mean, their over-under coming into the season was about around 30.5 wins, and they're already at 24 in this loaded of a Western Conference. The fact that they're in the mix to potentially be a top 6 team in the West and make the playoffs in this loaded of a Western Conference, I think is more impressive than what the Pistons have done in a weaker Eastern Conference. But that's why I've got him number 1. It's been so impressive what the Suns have done.
It's quite poetic.
But yeah, and then you have Joe Mazzulla for sure should be in that conversation. Mitch Johnson's been really good. I think some love should be given to Darko Rajakovic of the Raptors. I've said it the last couple of years where I feel like he's always been a good coach. He just hasn't been on a team that's been looking to win. This year he is, and they've been in an Eastern Conference that's kind of been, jumbled up in the middle. Raptors have consistently been like the 4th seed the whole year, so they deserve a lot of credit. He deserves a lot of credit.
Absolutely.
All
I'm going
right,
popcorn.
Jackson.
Ben, pick the next award.
All right, Ben, and then we'll just say our number ones. We'll just say our number ones, and then after everyone reveals their number one, we'll go to 2 and 3.
All right. Let's see. How about MIP, Most Improved Player? Who do we think's improving this year? This could be some mixed players. Who started?
Man, there are a lot of candidates. I've got 6 on my, short list of guys that could be up for this award. Jackson, who's your number one?
It's Denny.
Same.
I think.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, hard to go against him.
Yeah, he's gone from a guy who was kind of like, I don't know if people were saying they were like he's gonna be an all-star. Denny could like legitimately be like an all-NBA third or
Denny
second
can
guy.
cook, bro.
Yeah, Denny's been fantastic this year, and he's also leading the league in drives and I think shots at the basket this year.
And free throws around
Just
free
relentlessly
throws.
attacking the rim every single time he gets a chance, no matter who.
He plays like a battle ram. It's awesome.
Yeah, for a Portland team that's looking to get in the play-in as well and make a jump, and he's been the guy that stepped up and been there. I mean, again, they're star player. It's kind of crazy to even say that because I don't think anyone would have expected him to be, an all-star. Yeah, when Dame comes back, they could definitely be a beast for teams to deal with. But the numbers, he's increased his points per game from 17 to 26, along with 7 rebounds and 7 assists when he averaged 4 assists the previous year. Same efficiency, but field goal attempts go up by 5, 3-point attempts go up by 2, and free throws double from 5 to 10 a game. He's doing the same efficiency with increased volume of having the ball. It's been very impressive.
Hey, Thunder haters, that's more free throws than Shea last year. Just want to point that out.
I'll tell you what, imagine if Danny Avdia was still on the Washington Wizards. I'm sure they are kicking themselves. I think we all love what the Wizards are doing with the rebuild, and they've done a great job. But if they had kept Denny there and he could have, who knows if he could have developed into this in Washington. He could have had the ball in his hands a lot there. But if it was, if their young core going forward was Trae Young, Denny, and Sarr with next year's first-round pick, my goodness, they'd be in such a great spot.
It's okay. Bub's going to have a 50-point triple-double for my fantasy team tonight, so it's fine.
Okay, Nick, who are some other guys you want to highlight for this award?
Well, you mentioned my third place recipient in Alex Sarr, who's had a great second year for Washington and is a great two-way guy for them, rim protector, stretch threat. And he's honestly a solid built dude. Like, he's not like long and lanky. He's long, but he's not like lanky. Like he's got a good build. And then Keontae George is my second place guy. Enough said.
Enough.
The only reason he's not winning is Denny is unbelievable.
Yeah, Keontae has been awesome for the Utah Jazz. He's increased his points per game from 17 to 24, 7 assists a game. His efficiency's been really good. He's shooting 45% from the field, 37% from 3, 91 at the free throw line on 7 attempts per game. He's had several game winners for Utah this year. Both him and Lauri Markkanen, they've been one of the best duos in the league. So if Utah can get some sort of luck in this year's draft and finally get a cornerstone that can go, around those guys. Keontae George could be the guy that is the point guard of their future going forward, which is great to see because during this Jazz rebuild, they hadn't really had any of their previous draft picks stand out as guys that could potentially be cornerstones, faces of the franchise. Keontae George looks like he could be that, which is great to see for Jazz fans.
He is definitely in the running. Oh, my bad. He missed his game. He missed his game winner in Chicago tonight, unfortunately.
Oh man, he had a chance to beat him again because he beat him the previous game in that double overtime game where Nick and I ended up tying in fantasy. Vucevic, come on, man.
And Matt
But
was
yes,
hanging on.
yeah. I'll get some other guys that I want to give some love. I mean, Keontae for me is definitely number 2. But Ryan Rollins from the Milwaukee Bucks has been very good. Someone who was, a late second round pick, a journeyman, really to start his career this year for a Milwaukee team that coming into the year really had no point guard play. He has stepped in and been there full time. Starting point guard, averaging 16, 4, and 5, when last year he averaged 6, 2, and 2 as just kind of a spot up guy that would shoot threes. So he's done a lot for the Bucks. I don't know how much, it's not going to really lead to much success, but he's had a very good year, and he's proving that he can do a lot when he has an expanded role.
Did you have your boy Andrew Nemhart on there?
I was close.
Miles, wasn't that your preseason prediction for this award?
Probably, but no Pacer deserves to be on the list.
MPJ or
He was close. He was close for me. I love him.
MPJ on anybody's?
Who?
No. I didn't really even think about him, to be honest. Even though he's having a great year, but I think we can all agree when you go from being the third or fourth option to number 1 and getting to take all the shots you want, that's a lot different. And, that's a lot different.
Yeah.
Agreed. He's having a phenomenal year, though, for the Brooklyn Nets, though. That's for sure.
MPJ.
Did we get Ben's top 3?
Yeah, Ben, who are your other guys that you want to highlight?
So, I Keontae, too. We talked about him. He's really improved, been great. Then at 3, I had Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the Atlanta Hawks. He has been great, especially after Trae Young got hurt earlier the year. I was like, wow, he's stepping up and scoring 20-plus points now for them. Wow, it's taking a big leap offensively, especially I've noticed this year, while continuing to still play some defense. So I think he should be in the conversation.
Yeah, for sure. The last few guys I'll mention here, we talked about them a lot this season. Or Jackson, you need yours?
I haven't done my 2 and 3.
Okay, go ahead.
My 2 is also an Atlanta Hawk. I have Jalen Johnson at my 2. I just think he's become like a building block for a team, like an alpha. Like I don't know. He's just become a lot more comfortable offensively, I'll say. I mean, he's gone from 19 points a game to 23. He's at same rebounds, but his playmaking has been exceptional this year. He's averaging 8 assists compared to 5 last year. And he's also improved a lot behind the arc. He's up 5% from last year, going from 31 to 36%. I just think he's reached a new level this year. And for a guy that wasn't a lottery pick or anything, it wasn't necessarily expected of him to be this good. And he's been phenomenal. And then my 3, hear me out. I have Jamal Murray at my 3. Because this year, as Jokic's second option, he's been awesome. He's been lights out. I mean, he's gone up 4 points per game, an assist and a half, but he's also, arguably one of the better 3-point shooters in the league. He's shooting 45% from behind the arc this year. I saw that. I was like, dang. I was not expecting, I didn't think he was at 45%.
Locked in.
He's been awesome to watch this year, and I think this is playoff Jamal Murray, but he's finally bringing it to the regular season, which we haven't ever seen.
Yeah, it is. He is making it so that it is a guarantee that he makes the All-Star game this season. I don't think you can make an All-Star roster leaving him off of it. He's been absolutely fantastic this year for the Nuggets, 8th in the entire league in three-point percentage, as you said, on 8 attempts a game. Very good. And again, with the last few games with Jokic being out, they've needed him to step up and be that number one guy. And although Peyton Watson has been awesome, player of the week, I cannot believe it. Jamal Murray is the guy that leads them when, Joker is out of the lineup, and he's been awesome. Last few guys that I want to give some love to for the award. Jalen Duren from the Pistons, another guy that should make his first All-Star game this year, has taken a big jump and is clearly the second best player on the number one team in the East. And come on, Dylan Brooks for the Phoenix Suns, averaging 21 a game. Like this, it is crazy what he's been able to do to change the focus of that franchise. Upped his points per game by 7. His efficiency, Dylan Brooks being efficient from the field. What world is this? I mean, he's been good. Suns have had other guys, step up as well, with Grayson Allen having a big time year this year, averaging 16 points per game, and Colin Gillespie coming in and has been one of their focal points offensively as well, averaging 13, 4, and 5, 41% from 3 on 7 attempts a game. So a lot of guys on the Suns deserve some credit, but certainly a ton of talent all around the league that's gotten better. So a lot of fun. It's always fun to go through that award and give those players their credit.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Agreed.
For sure. All right, where are we going next here? What award should we talk about next?
I think it's Jackson's turn to pick, and then you get to pick Miles.
Let's talk about some bench ballers. The 6th man of the year. This one's interesting because a lot of guys shuffle in and out of starting lineups and stuff. So my criteria was you had to play 50% of your games off the bench. So my one is Anthony Black. Now, I know a lot of his damage has been done as a starter, but Anthony Black has taken a noticeable jump. He could have been another MIP guy, but he's been awesome for the Magic. He's averaging 16, 4, and 4 basically, and he's shooting 47% from the field, 35% from 3. But he's half and half with games started off the bench. So he was like the ending of the criteria for this. But I think he's been awesome for them as both a bench player and a starter this year.
Yeah, I love Anthony Black. I've been waiting on him to have a breakout year like this for the last 2 years, honestly, because he was just such a dynamic and he was just a really impressive guard at Alabama. One of the first SEC 6'6" guards who could do everything after Cade, I guess, because Cade went to Texas.
Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Same conference. No, Big 12. Big 12.
Yeah. Wait.
Either way, he was a great player at Alabama, and I definitely have him on my list too, I think. But I have Nickeil Alexander-Walker as my 6th man.
Yeah, that's where my criteria came in because he's only technically come off the bench for 7 games. But I think he's obviously a great option.
I think we were talking about that last episode with CJ.
Well, what about him?
Well, if CJ starts, because he's never came off the bench in his career.
Well, CJ is the one coming off the bench, and Nickeil is starting.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll go with Nas because I think he deserves it, even though voter fatigue could play a factor. Nas.
That's my 3.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely up there. Ben, how about you? Who's your 6th man of the year at this point of the season?
Yeah, I actually have Keldon Johnson as mine. Since he is the longest tenured Spur, he's really brought some great energy, representing that Spurs culture that they've needed off that bench. Wow. Having a few big scoring nights off the bench and hustling hard and playing well on both ends. I've been quite impressed with Keldon, with him being able to have the more so step back, come off the bench, but still being able to produce. And then I've Nas at number 2. Yeah, he continues to be Nas Reed. And good Nazarene stuff off that Timberwolves bench. They have Tommy Hawkins of the Heat,
Yeah, Hawkins.
number 3.
Yeah.
He has had the best year of his career so far. Year 3, he can score good off the bench. He plays great defense. He plays well with that Heat culture off the bench. Some good energy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
right.
That's exactly what I've got. Keldon, Hawkes, and Nasri. Those 3 have been
Yeah.
terrific off the bench.
Keldon's been fantastic. Talk about efficiency. He's shooting 56.5% from the field and 41.5% from 3. And he's also he's been playing better defense than usual. Because he's not ever been known to play good defense, but he's been a decent defender off the bench for the Spurs. And I'm really impressed with how he's played this year.
He's playing his role. Playing his
Exactly.
role. And that's exactly what you need from that Spurs team. We were talking about it before the year, heading into the year, that the Spurs, their role players, they needed to get those specific roles figured out before the season. And they have, and Keldon Johnson has definitely, embraced his role this year, averaging 13 points and 6 rebounds a game in just 23 minutes. And Jackson, you mentioned the efficiency. He's been awesome. And Jaime Jaquez, after a big-time sophomore slump campaign last year, averaging 16, 5, and 5 off the bench, and has been a big-time closer in a lot of the Heat's wins this season. So definitely those 3 guys, I think, are the big ones here for this award so far.
Pretty lock and key then.
Awesome.
Let's see here. Let's go to our next award. Let's go to Defensive Player of the Year. Then this one was a tough one. This one I think was a super tough one. I think the default guy here for me, because this team has still been, one of the elite defensive teams that we've ever seen, and it has been Chet Holmgren for the Thunder. Offensively, he has taken a big-time jump this season, but the numbers for Chet Holmgren defensively this year, I know we were talking earlier about him against, Wemby and struggling, but it's been big time. Again, they have the best defense in the NBA. It's by far above everyone else's. And his defensive numbers, when a player shoots against Chet Holmgren this season, they only shoot 40% from the field, which is really good for a big guy, because, especially for a big guy that roams around the paint a whole lot. So I think he deserves a lot of love, but this one's so close. I think it could go to a number of players.
Yeah, I think it's between those 2, Chet and Wemby, and I think it's going to be between those 2 for quite a while. What I'd like to point out is the fact that, they kind of do different things on that end. Like, Chet's a bit of a Swiss Army in terms of being able to switch and defend the perimeter, like you're saying, and guard pretty much 1 through 5. And, Wemby is not an elite perimeter defender by any means. You saw him get blown by for the win versus Ant in the Timberwolves game this week, and but he is, just probably the best rim protector I've ever seen on an NBA court. So you got to weigh those 2 things, and obviously team statistics comes into it. The Thunder have the best defense in the league, but the Spurs have, beaten them 3 times, and they're right there with the Thunder in the defensive end. So I do have Wemby first and Chet second, but like you said, it can go either way, and voter fatigue plays a factor, and Chet's having a great year, so he could definitely win it.
Speaking of voter fatigue, let me add a new player to the equation. How about that? You're talking about the wrong French player here. How about Rudy Gobert from the Minnesota Timberwolves? Has been fantastic once again this season. When he's on the floor.
Talk about a revival season like Jaime.
Yeah, it's just when he's on the floor, they just, like, the Timberwolves, it's night and day defensively. He's an anchor for a team that is good defensively, but when he's not on the floor, they're not really good. Like, they don't, like, the defense takes a noticeable dip. And I just think, especially, like, watching the Cavs Timberwolves, Rudy was everywhere. He was blocking shots. He had a couple possessions on the perimeter, And I've been really impressed with Rudy once again this year. And I mean, voted for T could be another thing for him, but I could see him winning number 5 this year, especially because Wemby might not hit the threshold because he's missed already over half the season, I believe.
Yeah, that's why I didn't include him. I didn't
Yeah.
consider Wemby for this just because I don't. At this point, I tried to do it. My criteria for the awards, I know we all did it in our own way here, but I did. If you played in, you had to play in at least 30 of the games so far this season because that's 75% of the games. Obviously, Wemby's been great defensively. I'm just not sure if he'll play enough games. But yeah, Rudy Gobert has definitely been amazing defensively. I mean, let's see, his defensive rating when he's on the court this season is at a 107.2, which is right up there. If it was a team, that would be the second best defense in the entire league, just behind the Thunder. So he has been very impactful for Minnesota this year, once again.
Yeah. And then do you want me to do my 2? Because my 3 is Chet. So my 2 is
okay. Well, what Ben? Did you say or 1?
No, I haven't gone yet, but my 1's Wemby, then my 2's Chet. Yeah, I still Wemby at 1 is kind of tough to determine the amount of games big. We'll see if he'll be eligible at the end of the year, but just when he's on the floor, he's just phenomenal. It's just so hard to make shots over him. Stuff as always. Chet, being Chet, being phenomenal on defense. But when the Thunder were on their dominant run, they weren't allowing a whole lot of points, and a big part of that was Chet Holmgren all over guys in the paint. And by number 3, I do have Evan Mobley in the Cavs. Number 3 was a difficult one. I could have went Rudy Gobert or other guys, but I know the Cavs overall as a team, I would say, have not been as good defensively, but I've really seen a whole lot of regression though on that end from Evan Mobley. He seems to be holding up fine there. Like when I still watch the Cavs, I still see Evan Mobley at least defensively, but just making it really, really difficult on guys sometimes trying to score around him and stuff, and still doing the same kind of Evan Mobley stuff he's done before.
Yeah, I'd agree. He's still been good defensively. He actually is having his best year in the league as far as blocking shots, which is impressive to see for Evan Mobley. Yeah, I mean, I went Wemby 1, Rudy 2, but guy I want to give love to is someone that comes off the bench for one of the best defensive teams in the NBA this season, and that is Isaiah Stewart for the Detroit Pistons. He comes off the bench and completely mucks up the game. He he's a younger version, an Eastern Conference version of a Steven Adams for Houston. He comes in, tries to defend, block shots, get rebounds, and he's been one of the best shot blockers in the entire league this season. He's averaging 2 blocks a game on the season, and over the last 10, 11 games or so, he's averaging 3 blocks a game. He has been the anchor for that Detroit Pistons defense. As in the inside, we know what Asar Thompson can do and Jalen Duren's, physicality. But off the bench, the Pistons do not lose a beat, and it is because Isaiah Stewart comes in and he has a presence down there in the paint.
Yeah, that's fair. I haven't watched a lot of Pistons games, but one team, like I did this. I based my top 3 off of my eye test for a lot of the players around the league, because I've watched a lot more basketball this year than I have in years past. And another guy I want to give love to, because I watch a lot of Raptors games, is Scotty Barnes. Talk about someone who can guard 1 through 5. He's been tough this year. He's been guarding the other team's best player, whether it's a 4, sometimes even 5s, since Pirtle's been out. He can guard your 1, 2, 3. I think Scotty Barnes has been fantastic defensively this year, and he flies around the court, and I've really enjoyed watching Scotty Barnes play, especially defense this year.
Yeah, can't argue with that one at all. It's been a good year for the Raptors on both ends of the floor. All right, where should we go to next year? Which award? Only a few left here at this point.
Isn't it just
Clutch.
Oh,
Yeah, we can get clutch out of the way right now. I mean, there have been some guys that have definitely been more clutch than others this season. I think the main guys for this I would have for this have been Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Anthony Edwards. Ant has been huge in some clutch wins for Minnesota, and throughout the year, when the Thunder have been so good this year, they're 33-7 on the season. And one of the reasons in the clutch is because when the opposing team tries to get back in the game and tries to make it, a close contest near the end of it, Shea usually puts an end to that with his shot making, his playmaking. So I mean, I think those two guys, but Ant has definitely been more noticeable with some of the shots he's made against the Thunder, against the Spurs, as you mentioned, Nick. He's been great this year.
I think you got to throw Kevin Durant out there, just because of.
Rockets.
Well, I know that they suck in the clutch, but
that's why I couldn't consider him.
I mean, he's gonna have the ball in his hands in every single close game, and he shoulders so much for them. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad take.
No, it's not. He's been clutch.
I think by the end of the year, he's definitely gonna have a lot of plays that have people talking about him.
Yeah, if Ime gives him the ball more.
Here we go.
I have somebody else that I want to mention.
We're good.
Oh, I mean Kawhi.
Yeah,
the Clippers stink, but he's phenomenal, and
they're playing a lot better. They're playing a lot better. When we graded them coming into the new year, we were talking about how after they started like 6-21 or whatever, and Ty Lue said, all right, our goal is to finish the season 35-20. I believe they are 10-2 right now in that stretch, so they are certainly making a push to come up right now.
What was the first game that started their whole thing? Was it the Lakers game?
What for the Clippers?
For the Clippers.
Let me see. The first win in this stretch. Yes, it was the Lakers game that you went to.
That's because of me. That's
right.
I was there.
The Jacks. That's crazy.
I got to see my favorite player play live for the first time and probably last time ever, and that's what started it.
Go Clips, go! Go Clips, go! But Ben, who's your number one for clutch player of the year?
I went with Anthony Edwards there at 1, then Shea at 2, and I have Luka 3. Clutch players kind of difficult to do, but yeah, I agree. Bivesy, Edwards, and Shea sure been clutched when needed to. The guys, I definitely noticed them responding when they needed to come up clutch, but I also included Luka, since it seems like when the Lakers are close, Luka can find ways to come up clutch. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad a Laker was mentioned. They're 13-1 in the clutch, and the one loss was over the weekend against Milwaukee when Giannis made some key plays against LeBron. So they've only had one clutch loss this year. I've talked about it a lot, how the Lakers are kind of the opposite team as the Rockets in that regard. They've kind of had opposite seasons, but they're right there in the standings next to each other.
Can't argue that.
Jackson, did you say you're one, or do you have any other guys you want to show love to?
Not really. I mean, I think Cade's had his moments. Obviously, he's a beast. I think even Donovan Mitchell, he's had. I mean, thinking back to the Wizards game, he literally brought them back in the clutch.
Yeah, that's a go. I mean, that's kind of another kind of Kevin Durant situation where they've kind of been the two worst teams in the clutch among like playoff teams have been the Rockets and the Cavs this year. But I like the mention of Donovan because, of course, Cleveland has had a disappointing year in the Eastern Conference. They're now 23-19. Could be a whole lot worse if not for some of those fourth quarters that Donovan put on.
42 without Donovan. Let's be real. But yeah, I mean that's all I have for that.
All right, then let's move on here. I believe we have 3 awards remaining
Rookie.
here.
GFF,
Oh, I
MVP.
forgot about the rookies. Oops.
That's right. All right, where do we want to go next then, Nick?
Rookie.
All right, we'll talk about the rookies. This has been a terrific draft class so far.
Awesome.
I do think
there's one guy
yes.
who stands above it all, and he's currently lighting up, or well, not lighting up, getting lit up by the Jokic-less Nuggets. You know, P. Watt and Jamal Murray are just giving him buckets. But no, Cooper Flag, number 1 overall pick. Obviously, like coming into the draft was like a very highly touted prospect for his two-way play and stuff. And then in the beginning of the year, they gave him the ball because they had Kyrie out and they wanted him to run point. That didn't work out great, so they put him back off the ball. And since then, he's just been, had a couple 40. I mean, he had at least one 40-point game I know of, and multiple high-scoring nights, and doing everything out there in terms of defense, rebounding, and getting other guys involved. It's fun. He's definitely my pick to win it.
Same. Coop's a gamer.
Yeah, he definitely shines above the rest here, Ben. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. Then I got Con Knipple at 2. Yeah, not surprised you guys have him there too. He's been lighting it up too, and he's impressive 3-point shooter as a rookie. This Duke guy's impressive. And at 3, I got Derek Queen. When he was playing, he's putting up some big numbers. Impressed with the moves he can make to get to the rim and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Con Knipple, I think we got to give him some love because what he's done, oh my goodness. Like, I don't think as a rookie, he's coming in immediately been one of the best volume shooters in the league. He's averaging 19, 5, and 4, 42% from 3 on 8 attempts per game, and he's been one of the go-to scorers for the Charlotte Hornets. I'm now just starting to think about it. I mean, have we seen a better rookie 3-point shooter in the league since like Steph or Clay or like Buddy Hield or one of those?
Come on.
Yeah, I was saying, didn't Keegan Murray break the record?
It wasn't as efficient as this though. Like that's not, like he was able to get a lot of them up there. Like I know for total threes, like I know he has the rookie record. Khan's about to break that. This season. I mean, yeah, as a rookie, Keegan. I mean, he did shoot 41% from 3 on 6 attempts a game as a 4-man. But I mean, I feel like not a lot of people were aware of kind of his reputation coming into the league, and he was kind of seen to be for that Kings team in his rookie season as like a stretch 4 type of player with Sabonis and Fox. This guy's one of the focal points and ball handlers on the Hornets, and he is lit up the entire league so far. I mean, I think this is one of the best 3-point shooting seasons by a rookie that we have seen, and it'll be hard to top what we've seen from him so far.
Yeah, I can't argue that.
But as far as other rookies, there are a ton of other guys to give love. Derek Queen's another one. VJ Edgecombe from the Sixers, so good. And then for me, I went through and made all rookie teams just because I was curious to see who would, make them. And out of my top 5, I have Flag, Knipple, Edgecombe, Queen, and then Cedric Coward from the Memphis Grizzlies because he's been one of the real impressive rookies as well.
Yeah. Got to give some love to Jeremiah Fierce, too. I think he's been good. All around fantastic rookie class. It's been really fun to watch how these guys have kind of all acclimated to the league so far.
Yeah, it's going to be a
mentioned the second pick, Dylan Harper, who has also been really good in the time he's played.
Right, like it's going to be a stacked all-rookie second team this year, which I know is great, but it's going to be really stacked. Yeah. Like I got it. Fears, Trey Johnson from the Wizards, Dylan Harper, Maxime Reynaud, who's been a bright spot for a horrible King season, and then let's see, let me get his name right. Yegor Dioman from the Brooklyn Nets, one of their many rookies who have been he's had some big-time games from 3-point range this year. For Brooklyn. So definitely a fun rookie class.
Agreed.
All right. Garbage fire franchise. Garbage fire franchise at the midway point of the season. Now, I'm interested to see if anything will change by the time we get to the end of the season with this honor or dishonor. Let's see, Nick, you're smiling here. Well, I think you should go first here. Who do you think at midway point of the season has been the garbage fire franchise, the worst franchise in the league so far this season? Not the worst team on the court, but a combo, of a lot of different things.
Yeah, I'm smiling because I love how you always say the honor or dishonor of winning the award. It's a great line. I'm also smiling because Joey isn't here to defend his beloved Kings, and I think we might have a unanimous, at least we should, in my opinion, have a unanimous GFF award winner here for our midseason.
Yeah, too.
It's bad in the sack, man. They can't light the beam or nothing.
The beam got shot down. The beam is... I don't even know where the beam's at.
Well, hold on. First, I will say, as a fan of a team that has lost to the Kings multiple times.
Well, not multiple, but
No. I'm saying for you. I'm saying you can't be talking bad about the Kings.
that's why they're my two. Okay.
Oh, there you're two. Okay, I will say though, dude. Okay, the Kings have been awful. They've been garbage, a lot worse than we could have even thought. But 3 straight games, they've beaten the Rockets, the Lakers, and they're currently up double figures against the Knicks at halftime in Mike Brown's return to Sacramento. Who knows? This could be the turning point here in the 3rd game of a 7-game homestand for Sacramento. So they have a chance to relight the beam there in Sacramento, but I don't think that 2-3 games fixes what's gone on there this season. They probably are the GFF as of this point. They're returning to glory that they had in the 2010s.
I disagree. I think the Pelicans are worse. I mean,
you just gave them the 3rd place Rookie of the Year winner.
Okay. But at least the Pelicans have their own pick, or at least the Kings have their own pick. I mean, my goodness.
Kings have no future assets other than that.
They have that 1st round pick.
That's more future assets than the Pelicans now.
Pelicans have guys on the roster already. Fears, Queen.
Yeah, they're gonna.
But those aren't assets. Those aren't assets.
Peterson to Atlanta, and the league's cooked.
I'd rather have those dudes than an unknown. I don't know with this upcoming draft. I guess I get what you're saying, but it's still the Kings because they had expectations and the Pelicans did not. They had expectations and the Pelicans did not.
The only reason the rookies look good is because they're playing a bunch of minutes because the team is trash.
2 years ago, this team was the 2 or 3 seed, and they've somehow fallen so far from that we're here talking about them for this award. So they deserve to win it. That's the bottom line. I mean, I don't care if New Orleans has an ass or doesn't have a 1st round pick for this year, bro.
Well, that's very important for the worst team in the Western Conference.
Yeah, but we're talking about the GFF, man.
And that's part of it. Trading away your most valuable asset for your franchise is very important.
The fact that they still have Zion on this roster also makes them partially the GFF. They traded for DeJounte. That's a while ago, but still, I count it.
Jordan Poole.
The Jordan Poole trade. Oh, I love Jordan Poole as much as the next guy, but why would they do that?
Okay, well, here's this. I'd rather have Zion, Poole, and DeJounte than Sabonis, Levine, and DeRozan.
Yeah, I guess the thing. Well, if we want to talk about that, I mean,
no. 2 of those contracts expire for the Kings, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
In terms of tradability, trade value, future. Those dudes are at the end of their careers.
I think Sabonis has more trade value than Zion.
Yeah. Well, maybe. That's debatable.
I think the key thing is that the Kings have their own 1st round pick and the Pelicans do not. The Kings are able to have a backup plan in the situation that they were as bad as they are right now. The Pelicans trade away their 1st round pick for Derek Queen, which could be the right move because Derek Queen has been really good, but without the first round pick, like if the I think it is a bad move. I will say though, neither of these teams were in my mind before, like for this award, this award, like a month ago. Because if it was not for the last month, then I think the Los Angeles Clippers would have to be the GFF for. First of all, the offseason with the aspiration stuff with Kawhi and Steve Ballmer. Then they get an old roster together, but we all have expectations for them coming into the season. Now they're starting to play better. But again, talk about a team that's old and doesn't have their own first-round pick, and then tells their franchise GOAT Chris Paul to go home. Like, that is a GFF to me. If it wasn't for the last 12 games where they've gone 10-2, I feel like they're the unanimous GFF, but they've been playing better.
Not to mention OKC has their pick.
Literally. Yeah, the OKC is the one that has the first-round pick. Not just that they don't have their own first-round pick, that the best team in the NBA has their own first-round pick.
So if OKC falls out of the lottery, I take credit for that because I started it. I started the Clippers uprising. But I also want to show some hate, if you will, to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh, dude, I was gonna too as well. I'm not gonna lie.
This team is a dumpster fire. I mean, they've developed guys well. Obviously, I mean, you got your Zach Edey's, Jalen Wells. Like, they had a really good draft class last year, and then this year getting Coward. They're doing that stuff right, but the way they've handled the Ja situation is honestly terrible. It's laughably bad. I think you got okay value back for Bane, but also not really because the Phoenix Suns are good. And it's just, I mean, I don't know. Memphis was also, like Nick said about the Kings, they were a 2 or 3 seed a couple years ago. And it's just been downhill every year.
Now that we're at this point of the season, where Ja is gonna probably get moved anyways, do you guys think that they could have gotten like the same package that they got for Desmond Bane? Do you think that they could have gotten that for Ja Morant in the offseason, and then they could have still just built around Bane and Jaren Jackson this season?
I think so, possibly.
I think they could have gotten
maybe not four first-round picks, but
a young player and 3 first-round picks.
Yeah,
like I feel like the Magic would have given up Anthony Black and 3 first-round picks for Ja Morant. I could have seen that being a trade.
Yeah, I now after the fact, now that they're just going to move on from Ja anyways, I don't know why they didn't just keep Bane, who fits. He can fit on any team, Desmond Bane. Like, you know what I mean? Every team would love to have Desmond Bane, on their roster. I don't think you would say that about Ja Morant at this point. For their 2 careers. But let's go to our final award, the MVP, Most Valuable Player Award.
3?
Sure. Ben, you go first here.
All right. My number 3 is Luka Doncic for the MVP award. The Lakers, well, you have a winning record, I believe, now, but I mean, they weren't overall a great basketball team, but Luka is still putting up absolutely phenomenal numbers. You see the try carrying the Lakers at times, and I was just like, man, I think he's good enough just to be on here at number 3.
Yeah, I got Luka at number 3 too. Been incredible for the Lakers, doing everything. And been healthy for most of the year, nearly averaging a triple-double. Yeah, he's tough matchup, tough scout to go against. Can pretty much win any game he steps on the floor for a first team. So MVP for
Jackson, did you have him on your list at all? Okay, I didn't either. I do want to talk about him. Obviously he's having an amazing year this year. He's right now averaging 33, 8, and 9. He's been awesome, statistically wise. But I will say, I feel like, and again, he's been good in the clutch, but I'm just concerned with him for the Lakers going forward as the face of their franchise, because obviously you could say he's responsible for a lot of their wins this season, but he's also responsible for a lot of their losses this season because of the same concerns that we've had in years past about the defense, the effort, the complaining to officials, the things like that. So I pose this question to you guys. Obviously, we all recognize Luka is an incredible basketball player, and the Lakers obviously made the correct move getting him in the middle of last year, and he's having an amazing year. Does Luka have one of the lowest floors in the league for his team, as far as if he's having a bad game because he has the ball so much, and because defensively if he's having a bad offensive game, he's gonna fall asleep defensively, complain to officials, and be a negative to his team, that you don't really have a chance that night if he's having a bad game because he has the ball so much.
Yes.
Yeah, he makes the right read every single possession.
When I went and watched Luka in person, he had one of those bad games, and I was like legit. Like, I went with someone who doesn't necessarily know a lot about basketball, and I was telling him, I'm like, we're about to go watch Luka. Luka is a top 3 guy, and then we started the game started, and my friend looked at me. He's like, this dude stinks, and I'm like, because he wasn't making his shots, and he wasn't even like facilitating, and then on defense, it was bad. Like, I was watching him, like, this dude is not a good defender. Like, and obviously it's been known, but I was like, he doesn't make rotations. He doesn't show effort. It's nuts.
Yeah, when you watch it in person, you can see. And I will say, first of all, I don't know if you can make the right read every time if you lead the league in turnovers, nearly 5 a game. And when you're shooting 33% from 3 on 10 attempts per game, is taking a contested step back 3 or step back mid-range jumper without moving the ball the right read? I don't think so. I don't think so. So I think that there's concerns with him going forward. Obviously, he can win you in a lot of games, and he can do a lot of special things on the floor. He can also hurt you in the opposite direction because he has the ball so much. And
Who do you guys have at 3?
Miles, you go first.
This was tough for me. I think Luka's definitely top 5 in this conversation because Lakers' record could be a lot worse if he didn't, go supernova at the beginning of the season in some of the games and the clutch wins. It's between the two leaders at the top of the East, Cade Cunningham and Jalen Brunson, to me right now for 3rd in MVP. I decided to go with Cade Cunningham, in my opinion, just because I think that what he's doing has been more impressive. Again, for a Pistons team that was not expected to be at the top of the East as far as the number 1 seed, and a team that offensively, really, it's him. Offensively, it goes all through him. He's a guy that's averaging a double-double on the season, 27 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists a game. He does so much well as we lose Ben momentarily. I think that he deserves the higher ranking over a guy like Brunson, who has been awesome this year, but has a more offensively talented, group around him.
Yeah, for sure. It's got a bigger shoulder, bigger weight to carry on his shoulders.
I also have a player from the East. Let me show some love to a man whose name has not been said yet this episode. Mr. Jaylen Brown is my 3. Jaylen Brown is quietly averaging 30 points a game, and then he's tacking on 6 rebounds and 5 assists. He's efficient. He's carrying the Celtics to the 3 seed right now. Derek White's playing good, but I don't know. Every time I put on a Celtics game and I'm watching, I'm like, Jaylen Brown's just nuts. He doesn't. I feel like he doesn't miss many shots. Obviously, the stats say otherwise, but it's just the impact when he's like Tatum's down for the whole year, and you're expecting, hey, they're not gonna be good. So Jaylen Brown's like, nah, we're good. We're gonna be a top 3 seed because I'm gonna average 30 points a game, and I don't think he's getting a lot of credit. I haven't seen people talking about Jaylen Brown and how actually phenomenal he's been this season. And I'm curious to see how the dynamic is when Tatum gets back, especially, I don't know how mobile he'll be when he gets back, and, I don't know what all that's going to look like. But Jaylen Brown cementing himself as a guy who could be a number 1. win. I mean, obviously,
Oh yeah.
it was always like he was a 1B, but he could be a 1A type of guy. So I really enjoyed Jaylen Brown this season.
Oh, he deserves so much love for what he's done this season. I mean, some of the numbers that he's put up, I mean, you mentioned the counting stats, but some other ones, he leads the league this year in 2-point field goal attempts. He takes 16 twos a game, and he shoots 54% on twos. Like, he's not, for an analytical league and an analytical team like the Boston Celtics, he's not afraid to take mid-range jump shots and make them. And he's doing it so efficiently. I mean, he's very efficient from three. He's shooting his highest percentage from three since his first All-Star appearance in the 2021 season. But this season, on Basketball Reference, you can take a look at a guy's shooting numbers by like distance on the court, and the distance from 16 feet to the 3-point line, so inside the arc to 16 feet, he's shooting 52% on long twos, and he takes a lot of them. So he is doing his thing for Boston. He certainly deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, crazy efficiency at all three levels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But obviously, like the last 2 years, two-man race for MVP, even though one guy is hurt right now. So the question is, who is it? Who's at number one at this point of the season? Ben, who's your MVP?
I got SGA as my MVP right now, just because, the Thunder have looked like the best team in the league overall, still, I think. And, Shea has scored 20 plus points still in every game he's been playing, and he still is extending that impressive streak that I talked about earlier. And he had a big 34 points against Spurs in the last game. He could dish out a whole lot of assists. He just gets so many baskets. I know people get mad about his foul stuff, like his foul baiting, but I respect him for finding just so many creative ways of getting to the basket and drawing a lot of fouls. Like he's a player that's just always so hungry to win and suppressive. Just how consistent that guy can be.
Agreed. Yeah, he's my two. I think obviously, like, when the season ends, I think he will win MVP. But so far for the first half, mid-season, I think the other guy's more impressive. Even though I think with the games threshold, I think it'll be Shea at the end of the year. He's that dude. I mean, I'm not someone who necessarily likes the Thunder, but I really enjoy watching Shea because he's just like, I love watching a guy who gets to his spots. He's another guy who loves that mid range, and he's a technician out there. Like, he plays smart. I enjoy that. I think if he wins his second MVP, he's more than deserving because he's missed a lot of fourth quarters because the Thunder were just so dominant to start the year. But yeah, I mean, so do you?
I got Shea too.
You have Shea too?
No, I won.
Oh, one. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's closest thing to Kobe that exists or has existed. It's incredible the amount of shots that he takes that are jump shots. Like, he doesn't live at the rim, and he's super efficient and averages 30-some. Like, Luka, I think, probably gets to the rim more than he does, and Jaylen Brown probably gets to the rim more than he does. And that's saying something because Shea drives it a lot. But a lot of times, he's got a great team around him. He's kicking it out for three. And I was watching the Spurs game, and I'm like, damn, dude, he just shoots a lot of jump shots, and they all seem to find the bottom of the net.
Yep.
Yeah, you expect it to go in every single time. And I've really grown to appreciate his leadership for the Thunder. It feels like he says the right thing at every moment for that team. which I think it's so valuable for a championship team. And again, not every good team has that leading the way. And I think that, it is just super important.
Yeah.
But I mean, that other guy, Nikola Jokic, I mean, holy moly. I still don't know who to say as my number one. I came into this saying, thinking that Shea would be number one, but I see the numbers again. And I mean, dude,
that's what I was
30 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists. One player leads the league in both rebounds and assists, shooting 60% from the field, 44% from three, 85 at the free throw line for a good Denver Nuggets team. Like a really good Denver Nuggets team.
Yeah. No, I mean, it sucks that he went down because I think it would have been a really good race rest of the year, but I don't fault you guys for taking Shea. I took Jokic as well. I'm with you.
You know what? I will take Jokic. I will take Jokic for right now because I do think Shea will get it at the end of the year because of because of the games played. Who knows? Maybe knock on wood. We don't want to see anyone get injured, but you never know. Shea could have the same injury and he's out for the same amount of time. We don't want to see.
Jaylen Brown wins MVP.
Yeah, then Jaylen Brown wins MVP. But I think for now, as Nick rejoins us, I think I'll go with the same as Jackson. It's so close, but I'll go with Jokic now because I do think Shea will eventually win it by the end of the season. We'll see, though. Those two guys have been awesome, though. Like, it's been incredible.
It's just 60, 40, 60, 44, 85.
That's nuts.
This is actually like... Dude, 7 and he averages 11 assists.
Listen, I mentioned the those shooting by distance numbers with Jaylen Brown. Let's going through them for Nikola Jokic. At the rim, 78% from 3 feet to 10 feet. So floater range, he's 64%. 10 feet to 16, 54. The long two, 64%, and for three, he's 44%. I mean, that's unbelievable. He makes shots at an elite level from every area on the court. I mean, it really is unbelievable. It is just nuts. But there are mid-season awards. Got to talk about a lot of things today. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast here. Of course, coming out on a Thursday here today. We will be back on Tuesday to discuss some more things around the NBA. Before we get out of here, you guys have anything else?
Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.
For sure. Definitely thank you, Jackson, for coming back on. It was a pleasure to have you back on and excited to have you on for some more big pods as we get some bigger games coming up over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here. It was really fun. I enjoy talking hoops. I enjoy talking about some of these players who have had good seasons so far.
Absolutely. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe for more NBA content. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you in the next one.
Peace.